to European settlers coming here. Superb.
What'd you get?
I got kosher and non-kosher. Gefilte fish and cream cheese. And then the sausage to top it off. And then
coffee.
non-decaffeinated coffee.
Non-decaffeinated. Okay, hon.
Bill Wells. This is brief from planning and execution with my partner Bill Wells from Bill Wells Design from Northern California, but both of them have worked all over the United States. Those ties to our major gala opening and series of symposium. So it's been an incredible journey for us. When we first came here, this place was in terrible disarray. And over 20, 30 years, it has become a hallmark not only of the local Long Beach area, but the state as well as the nation. But at Rancho Los Alamitos, it's really very confusing because what you see is not what you get. But I really don't want to disillusion you, but it never looked like this. Meaning that the trees have grown, the plants have gotten larger, the buildings have a patina of age. Every layer of the landscape has changed over time, yet some things have stayed the same. And that really is the story of Rancho Los Alamitos. And when Bill and I came here originally, that was our mandate, twofold, was to figure out what this place could talk about, that no other historic site could talk about because of its uniqueness, the story that we have to tell that is different is indeed that we are a microcosm of Southern California. And there was only one person for that job, and he happened to be sitting right there, Bill Wells. I've worked with him for over 30 years. He's like you, he has a degree in journalism, so be careful. He received that from the University of Oregon, and then he went to Vietnam as an intelligence officer during the years of the war. And he learned to do math like nobody could do math, and you will see the expertise of that playing out when you walk in there because there are many maps within the exhibition. But upon his return, he went to Art Center in Los Angeles when it was still in Los Angeles. He has that gift of combining idea, space, and form as one thing. We're not writing a book. We're creating a visitor experience that's as sumptuous as the site, as interesting, and as disturbing in the sense that it poses questions, but it doesn't always give the answer. Rancho Los Alamitos is a place for all time. That's the message we want to communicate.
Well, the word resilience has been used to describe the site, and I think it's a good word to describe what was required to design the elements on the site. We started 25 years ago. It looked nothing like this, and we started with a fairly large team. All those years later, we worked with many, many people, and people changed, ideas changed, information that Claudia was finding kept emerging. Literally, it was a moving target the whole time. These buildings were moving around. This building was expanding and contracting. The constraints were moving in and out all through that period of time. So, unlike most projects, we're not working with a fixed palette or form. We're going to try to apply these stories to and what the nature of the visitor experience was going to be. So we're always trying to let the site retain its integrity and not overwhelm it, and really, literally let the site speak for itself, including the people. Claudia's research brought up all sorts of oral histories and voices from letters and ledgers, and we tried to put all of those into the site.
When we all don't remember it, because none of us were here. in 47. That's 1947. And this is Rancho Los Alamitos today. And that green area is us, and very much you can tell the story of the rancho by the trees, because our name means Rancho the Little Cottonwoods. That means there was water here. Why? Cottonwoods are riparian. They grow near trees. So always the landscape tells the story of the rancho.
Yeah, and this place is such a surprise. Everybody who comes here for the first time, like as I did, are often surprised to find this oasis in the middle of this sea of development. And I think they come in and they want to know, how did this get here? What is this place? And we try to integrate the neighborhood so they can see the context of the house, and especially what it was back when it was a ranch in 47. All this land was owned by the Bixby's.
Immigration patterns, the land usage patterns, the labor patterns reflect trends throughout California and the voices of people over time who made it possible.
I thought you were going to say that you were test.
How many acres? Right here.
Oh, wow. This is perfect right now. Here we go. Wow, what is this place? This is the so-called history room. And Bill mentioned out there in the landscape that one of the things that we were able to do is the landscape out there does many things. But what it doesn't do is reveal the faces of the people and their stories over time, the diversity of Rancho Los Alamitos, beginning and still today with the Native Americans who in their traditional belief emerged here at Pomona. Moving on through the 1880s, where you see all the ledger pages around here, those are the actual ledger pages. When you look at Rancho Los Alamitos over time, we were very concerned that people saw the variety of people who were here. Where again, you came up Palo Verde right there. There's the Mexican workers' houses. Down here would have been the Japanese lease farmers. To the east would have been the Belgian tenant farmers. They all called this place home, and today their grandchildren and their children come back and still call it home. And some are big-time growers in the Central Valley. Big idea, three major themes that travel through all the exhibit areas. One is renewing possibilities, one is native and newcomer, and the last one is borders and boundaries.
Let's get some moving pictures in here. I mean, that's really inappropriate to this site anyway, and I don't like them anyhow because they break. And they're a distraction. And what we have here is Claudia was able to find so many voices that are in this room, and that's really what it's filled with. The people and their voices, and then at the end we kind of put the landscape into context with the acreage and the development over time of the ranch boundaries all the way to 1968. And it's the kind of thing where this particular room has its own unique texture for this place, which is very dense.
The story from the very beginning of the Pomona, the ancestral village, all the way up through our time.